On this channel, we provide useful programming information with practical code examples. This time, we'll talk about the date object. We will explain step by step, from the basic mechanisms to frequently used operations in practical work, with concrete examples. Enabling subtitles will make the code descriptions easier to understand. The JavaScript date object is a standard object for handling dates and times. Internally, it manages date and time based on the number of milliseconds elapsed since January 1, 1970, 0 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds coordinated universal time. First, let's create a date object representing the current date and time, and check its contents. This code creates a date object representing the current date and time at the moment of execution. The display format depends on the execution environment, such as the browser or OS. Date objects can be created in several ways depending on your needs. One particularly important point that is easy to get wrong is that the constructor argument for month is zero-based, meaning months start at 0. In new date, year, month, day, the month means 0 is January and 11 is December. If you don't understand this specification, you may unintentionally create a date that is off by 1 month, so always be careful. You can individually retrieve the year, month, day, time, and weekday from a date object. All the getter methods return values as numbers. As with creation, be careful that getMonth is also zero-based. When using it for display, it is common to add 1 to adjust the value. getDay returns the day of the week as a number. 0 represents Sunday and 6 represents Saturday. Date is a mutable object, which means you can change its values later. This property is useful, but you need to be careful of unintended side effects. You can use set methods to change the values of an existing date object. setMonth is also zero-based. The original object is modified directly. It is common to perform date calculations using milliseconds or by using setDate. For day-based calculations, using setDate is especially intuitive and safe. In this example, we are calculating the date 7 days after the specified date. Even if the addition crosses into a new month, it is automatically adjusted. Date objects can be compared as numbers. This is because the internal millisecond value is compared. If you want to determine the order of dates, no additional conversion is required. You can use comparison operators directly. Date can be converted to and from numbers representing milliseconds, timestamps. This format is frequently used in APIs or database integrations. Date.now returns the current time in milliseconds. It is very useful when you want to store or compare the value as a number. Displaying a date as is often results in a format that may not fit your needs. Therefore, you should explicitly format it according to your requirements. By manually formatting it like this, you can fully control the display format. In practical work, libraries are often used for this purpose. Date provides methods for handling both local time and UTC. It is important to correctly understand this difference for server integrations and international compatibility. The getUTC** methods always return values based on UTC. Be especially careful when processing data across time zones. Date is convenient, but it also has some tricky aspects. In particular, the zero-based month and its mutability are common causes of bugs. Let's look at specific examples below to see the effects of the fact that date is mutable. If you want to keep the original date and time, always create a copy. Just being aware of this point will help you avoid unintended bugs. The date object provides sufficient features as a standard function, but there are situations in practice where it can be difficult to use. Typical issues include months and weekdays being zero-based, the tendency to confuse local time and UTC, and the fact that the object is mutable. These issues can lead to more bugs as date processing increases. Date is sufficient for simple date retrieval and comparison, but code readability and maintainability tend to decrease with more date calculations or display formatting. If you have requirements like the following, you may want to consider using lightweight date libraries such as Day.js or Date.fns. You need to explicitly handle time zones. You frequently need to perform date or interval calculations. You want to flexibly change the display format. You want to handle dates and times immutably. Date objects are the most fundamental tool for handling date and time in JavaScript. By understanding its quirks and performing proper creation, retrieval, calculation, and formatting, you can use it safely in real-world work. After mastering the basics, using date libraries as needed is a practical choice. The source code for this video can be downloaded from the official website. If you like, please visit the URL in the description to aid your learning. See you in the next video. Please subscribe and give us a thumbs up.